All right,
Okay, we're going to turn it over to NBC's Krista Voda. Go ahead, Krista.
Oh, not yet. Hold on one second. We got to
Oh,
wait.
we're on pause.
Who sent all of the goodies?
Well, that would have been Matt Cheslak.
Is he on here?
I don't know if he is.
Oh, well, thank you, Matt. I only ate half of them. I don't think I was supposed to eat any of them, but it's me today. And you know what? Food brings people together and takes grumpy people and makes them happy. So thank you, Matt, for knowing that I get grumpy when I'm hungry. Proceed. Sorry.
What about the media?
You guys not getting anything? You know what that is? If Clint Boer's on here, he'd say that's bullshit. So I'll say it for him. Sorry, guys. I still have some if you want to come here and share. I didn't touch them.
Good deal. Krista, take it away.
All right. Well, and if it's okay, we'll do it the same way we did before, where if once I call on you, I'll go ahead and sort of pause if you do have a follow-up. If not, if you could just say thank you. Hopefully that worked well for everyone.
Wait, Krista, you're the moderator?
I am. I do not have a mute button as in political debates. So
Oh.
wide open here.
Well, I'll work on that. I'll have my people get with your people. We'll
Yeah.
get going.
But if that worked for everyone, we'll continue in that fashion. Just want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to ask their question for the time that we have with Brad. So I'll go ahead and just kind of be the leadoff batter here, if we could. And Brad, the start of the playoffs. First, we're joined obviously by the driver of the #2 Team Penske Ford, Brad Keselowski. Congratulations on making the championship 4. You sort of talked about a mantra at the start of the playoffs. You said, "Why not us?" I want to know if that's still sort of your team's mantra, and if so, I'm going to flip it and say, why should it be you? Why will you guys win the 2020 championship?
Sure. This is my leadoff. It's a 2-part question. I got to process it because my memory is not that great, and I'll forget it halfway through. So the first part, yes, Krista, why not us? You know, I think, like any team, you go through ups and downs throughout a year, and we've had some great ups. We've won 4 races. Before the playoffs had started, we'd won 3. Were we as dominant as we want to be? No, we weren't. You know, I think you look at the things that Kevin Harvick did mid-season, they were pretty phenomenal. He deserves a lot of credit for it. And, you know, I think there were a lot of people at that point in time in the season ready to just kind of start engraving the trophy. And as you can tell, the way things ended up playing out, it's not that simple. You know, it's the way the playoff format is designed. It's meant to not give any free passes, even though there are teams that have performed really well for the majority of the season. So with that said, you know, our team is motivated. They're hungry. I'm looking at a group of people, and I think I'm the only one that's ever won a Cup championship on the entire team lineup. 3 of my guys that go over the wall come from my truck team. I'm super excited for them. You know, I've been with them and helped them from kind of day one when they'd never pitted a race car before, and now here they are competing for a Cup championship. That just gives me butterflies deep down inside. I'm super pumped for Jeremy Bolins, you know, when he came through the Xfinity team and how he's grown and just keeps getting better. Our communication is, you know, rock solid, on point, whatever you want to call it. And I just feel really good about it. I want to win a championship, of course, for myself, but as much as I want to win it for myself, I want to see the people I'm around get that opportunity like I had before, to enjoy it, to celebrate it. And so they're encouraged, they're motivated, and in a great spot. I'm happy for them. So it's good to see us fight through the adversity you know you're going to have in these playoffs. You know, we've gone through 9 races. A few of them have gone really well, a few of them went really bad, and a lot went right in between. And we've overcome the adversity and got this far. I'm ready to finish it off. I think our team is too. We know Sunday's not going to be easy. Don't know what's going to get thrown at us, but I'm sure something will get thrown at us. And when it comes at us, I'm going to do the best I can, and I'm confident my team will too, to brush it aside and move on and keep our head down on the goal to win the race and ultimately the championship.
All right, well, to go to a question from Bob Pockris.
Yeah, Brad, looking at this year through a competition lens, do you look at it as the year that you had 9 weeks where you didn't race and you didn't have practice or qualifying, or has it become so normal enough that you look back and be like, oh, that's the year where Harvick won 9 races and didn't make the final 4?
Yeah, I think come July or August there, Bob, that we reached a level of normalcy pretty quick. All right, this is the new norm. It took a month or two to get established. I'm not going to say anything differently than that, but I think now it's almost going to be hard to go back to the way it was, to be quite honest. I don't enjoy seeing people in pain. I know that at the very root cause of what we've done to the schedule and why we are where we're at is a fair amount of pain for different people, and I don't enjoy that at all. And don't want anyone to misconstrue anything I say to that point. But conversely, I really enjoyed this year, enjoyed the schedule, enjoyed the chance to show up at the race track on any given weekend, have great cars, go out and win, and not be sitting in your bus for 3 days, but just go hard and go compete. I enjoyed the Wednesday races and running 2-3 times a week. It felt like at times. It was a really good feeling to get to do those things and then also have some kind of normalcy to a life with my family, my wife and 2 daughters. So I hope that answers your question. That's how I felt.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Bob. Next question, Claire B. Lang.
Thank you. There we go. Thank you. Brad, Dale Earnhardt Jr. said that you guys are also evenly matched, that what will determine the championship is the mental part. Somebody will self-destruct or crumble during the process, and that will be the deciding factor. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, it's hard to pick what the deciding factor is going to be, but I wouldn't doubt what Dale said. There's going to be something that happens, and someone's going to recover and someone's not. Don't know what it is, but that's the reality. So I'd say that's a pretty astute analysis, Claire.
He also said he thought Joey Logano had the lead on the mental side, but I wonder where you think you stack up there, because truly we talk so much about performance and execution, but there's a lot of it right up here.
Yeah, no doubt. A large part of being a race car driver is mental. It's the approach, it's the preparation, it's the resiliency. Those are mental things that manifest themselves into physical results. And it's hard for me to comment on any other driver's preparation. I've got enough to prepare myself, let alone to critique against anyone else's preparation, but I know that I feel good about it.
Thank you. Good luck.
No problem.
Thank you, Claire. For the next question, we'll go to Jenna Fryer.
Sorry, it took me a second. Hey, Brad, you were pretty quick to call the election the other night. I'm wondering, if that's at all the same way people called Harvick a finalist, an automatic finalist.
You could draw some parallels. But hey, it just shows we don't know what we don't know, right? There's the old saying that tell God your plans and he'll get a good chuckle. So anyway, I guess probably the same could be said for this weekend for sure. It's interesting. I read Bob Pockrass's article where he picked me. Thanks, Bob. I appreciate that. Dale Jr. thanks Joey Logano. That's news to me, but that's fine. Maybe we're all wrong. Who knows what's going to happen? That's why we race, right? That's why we don't run the race on paper. We run it on the racetrack because things happen and none of us really know what's going to happen. All we can really guarantee is our preparation and our effort.
Can you sympathize for Harvick, or are you glad you don't have to face him Sunday?
Well, I think it'd probably be a little bit of both, right? I said this to someone, and forgive me, I don't know who it was. It might be somebody in this room, but one of the all-time lows of my career was winning 6 races, the most races of anyone in 2014, and not being eligible for the championship 4. I'd gone to Martinsville and broke a gear. Still don't know why it broke. Bad part. I don't know. Broke a gear and didn't have enough points to transfer. almost won Texas, and we know how that one played out. And boom, next thing I know, I'm out of the Final Four after winning the most races. It's a helpless feeling. It's a frustrating feeling, but it's what the format is. It's what we all signed up for. And so I do feel those sympathies for him. In a selfish way, I'm glad that I won't have to compete against him this Sunday in the sense of for the championship, but certainly for the race win, I expect him to be a large factor.
Thanks, Brad.
No problem.
And next question will go to Jeff Gluck.
Brad, are you going to be cashing in favors on Sunday? Do you expect to be given more room as a championship contender?
I don't know if cashing in is the right word. I don't know if I have many of those in the bank. Hopefully you don't need them. If you just go out there and execute, if the team brings a great car, driver does a great job, pit crew executes, we won't need any favors. And I can't say I've been really thinking about that too much, Jeff.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Jeff. We have a question from Dustin Long.
Thank you. Brad, I'm just curious, can you give me a sense of what the discussion is like with the Devil this week with going to a short track race and the more of the
Discussion with the Devil?
How is it for a driver to have a discussion with the Devil in the sense of this is a short track race? There's a little bit more potential to do something maybe more so than in Homestead, and how a driver, again, I know when you're in the moment, it just happens, but how a driver assesses, and thinks about if they're in that position, what they're going to do and how far they draw a line, that discussion with the Devil on it.
Yeah, Phoenix is interesting because certainly it's not a mile and a half, but I know a lot of us lump it into the short track category. I don't know. It's certainly not Martinsville or Bristol. So, it's somewhere in between those two, no doubt. I would suspect that there will be some kind of moment, to your point, where, there'll be a little fender bender. How much? I don't know. A lot of reasons to, question that with the PJ1 and everything going on. So I haven't put too much thought into that. Again, my focus is really on just getting in the lead and driving away. I hope we can do that and not have to worry about those things.
Also, obviously, it's been well documented. You've won the last two races with this tire compound and done it in very dominant fashion. And know you were certainly excited going into Richmond and felt very confident. I guess two things. Do you share that confidence that you had going into Richmond this weekend? And what happened at Richmond and New Hampshire? Does that really matter at this point?
Well, I would say I feel pretty darn good. Yeah. I've had different conversations internally this week than I had the last time I was in the championship four. That, at their most basic level, come from a high level of confidence. There's nothing guaranteed, but I'm very confident we're going to go there and be very competitive and have a great shot to win the race. That's what I can guarantee is that we'll be there. We'll be focused. Our team's going to bring a great car, and the chips will fall where they will from there. But our preparation and all that is already at a very high level, and I feel good about that.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Dustin. Next question will go to Kelly Crandall.
Thank you, Krista. Hi, Brad.
Hello.
Brad, two things. First off, is it going to be any kind of a curveball? You've been to the championship four before, so how different or any type of a curveball will it be to go in now without practice and qualifying, without going in a weekend through of nerves and just showing up and racing?
Yeah, I think kind of back to what I was saying before, I'm kind of looking forward to it. We've been so good with it the rest of the season that it's become the new normal, and I'm cool with that, Kelly. I'm just ready to go. It feels so old school to me. It feels like when I first started racing, and you would just show up at your local short track at Saturday at lunchtime, and there'd be a race at 5 or 7 o'clock at night, or a heat race, and then the feature race, and that was it. Like you loaded up and you were home by 1 or 2 in the morning. It's so much like that now. And it's never in my years of Cup been anything like that. In a lot of ways it's refreshing because not just the family time, but because you don't have 3 days of sweating over every little detail of, all right, I need 3 hours to prepare for qualifying. And after that, I need an hour of studying. And then I got to go, wake up at 7 in the morning and have an 8 a.m. practice session. Oh, and the track's nowhere near the right condition. And do we want to change the car setup? I don't know. So-and-so's faster than us. Yeah, but the track's not right. All these kind of mindless debates that you would have are kind of gone with this setting. I don't know if there was a lot of value in those that really communicated themselves to our fans or communicated themselves to, our fan base to where they generated, some excitement out of it. But they're certainly gone. It's a little bit different. I'm not complaining. I'm glad to get to race.
And secondly, you mentioned your team maybe not being here before. You might be the only one who's been in this environment. How much of a leader will you have to be the rest of this week and certainly going into Sunday to maybe prepare them, keep them focused, and not let the moment get to them?
Yeah, I definitely feel the weight on my shoulders as far as leading the team, being the sole member that's won a Cup championship before. There's also a great sense of pride of taking that, and I think mutual respect that we all have for each other as a team accordingly, and that's okay. I'm really relishing the position I have within my team right now.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks, Kelly. Next up, we'll go to Alex Andreev. Hi, Alex, your turn for a question.
Hey there. Thanks, Brad. I guess, so despite all of the noise around the predictions of who's a favorite and who's going to win, and maybe you already answered this a little bit in Dustin's question, but do you personally feel like you're a favorite to win this race?
Yeah, I don't know about the word favorite. I think that means different things to different people. I always think of it more from a sense of a gambling connotation, but maybe other people think of it differently. So I really hesitate to use that word because I'm not a sports gambler, and that's what I hear when people say that. But I there's things I feel great about, like Dustin said. I feel great about the tire. I feel great about the car we're bringing. This car and this tire combination, we've won the last 2 races. Certainly some differences between Richmond, Loudon, and Phoenix that maybe negate some of those advantages, but that's okay. My team has worked really hard, and I've prepared extra hard to be ready for the moment. So time will tell.
And then do any of sort of the predictions and stuff that you've seen before leading up to this race, does that serve to motivate you at all?
I don't know. I don't really need external motivation, to be honest, and I really don't feed off of it. I enjoy when people have confidence in me. Certainly that's a pleasurable thing to experience, but it's not motivating to me. What's motivating to me is usually, like I said, looking at my family's faces and knowing that how excited they are to get to go to Phoenix, and that's motivating to me. My team, and seeing them work so hard, and knowing that their heart's in a great place, that's motivating to me. I think that's probably where I take the motivation from.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks, Alex. Next question will come from Taryn Wack. Taryn?
Hi, Brad. Thank you. Also, one question for me. Given how abnormal 2020 has been, would winning the championship, I don't want to say mean more, but feel different? Like, should there be an asterisk next to it?
Yeah, I think each champion has their own asterisks next to them. There's each championship is won in its own unique way. It's hard to say which ones mean more and which ones mean less. You can argue the formats play into that. You can argue external circumstances like COVID-19 play into that. You can certainly argue that rules packages on the cars play into that. It's really hard, I think, to quantify championships and maybe their difficult level or their earned level with everything that goes on over the course of a year. or season. So it's hard for me to say that a champion this year would be any less deserving than any other championship. I don't know if I see that. I do think there are years that a champion is more deserving than others. I think that most people would probably agree with that. But the reality is a championship is just that. It's a culmination of work and effort that's led up to, an overall title. In that sense, I don't want to undermine it.
Thank you.
No problem.
Next question, John Newby. John?
Thank you. So you've previously talked about how you're snake bitten at Phoenix, but you're heading there with a car that's won 2 races and it has the opportunity to be the fastest on the track. Is this the anti-venom you need? And will it be extra special to hoist the trophy at a track that you've struggled with historically?
Yeah, it would. It's one of the tracks on the circuit I've never won at. I had a great shot of winning last spring. We got wrecked early, still managed to recover and lead a bunch of laps, win a stage, and the yellows didn't fall our way towards the end. There was a yellow that came out, I think, with 60 or 70 to go, and we had pitted 15, 20 laps earlier and didn't really feel like it was a smart move to pit right there because we only had one set of tires left. And the way the yellows played out, we never got a chance to really take advantage of the set of tires we had left in the pits, and ended up getting passed for lead by, cars that had tires. So that was frustrating for sure. I felt like that one kind of slipped through our hands, but not necessarily because of anything we did wrong. We had an opportunity, I think, to win there in the fall of 18. And I made a small little mistake getting through traffic, and we finished second. We had an opportunity to win there in 2012, and we were leading the race, and just the year we won the championship a week later, but we had a terrible pit stop and came out, towards the middle of the field and didn't have enough time to recover. So I feel like I probably had 2 or 3 opportunities to win there and have been snake bit. But the reality is, overall, I feel like if you keep putting yourself in position, that eventually it'll happen. I've been in position at Phoenix a number of times. Some of them I've messed up, just to be quite honest. I feel like we're due. I feel due to win at Phoenix. And certainly this year represents one of the best opportunities.
Perfect. Thanks, sir, and good luck.
No problem.
Thank you, John. Next up, we'll go to Davey Segal. Davey?
Thank you, Krista. Brad, last year there was some conversation regarding Championship 4 appearances possibly being weighed more valuable in this specific era than championships themselves. I was curious where you stand on that and how valuable the appearances are versus the titles themselves.
Yeah, the appearances are pretty big. No doubt about that. I think, I don't want to undermine winning the championship, but just to make it to the Final Four nowadays is a huge accomplishment. It's very difficult to do. And so I would say that, like anything, I gotta be careful how I word this. People always ask me how important is the driver. And the easiest thing I can say to that is the team owners have already answered it. If you look at their annual budgets and how much they allocate percentage-wise to their drivers, there you go. That's how important your driver is. And generally, a driver makes 30 to 45% of a team's annual budget. So that's how important the driver is. If you quantify how important the Final Four is, back to that same analogy, you kind of follow the money, and almost all the major team owners have, lended credence to that in the driver contracts, and whether it be bonus structures or whatever it might be. I think that's really intentional. I think the car owners are answering it for us, and the car owners kind of roll downhill from the sponsors. So the sponsors are answering us for us, and the sponsors, of course, play off of ratings and attendance and things of that nature. Specifically, what kind of ROI they're seeing in their media numbers. So the media kind of has answered that question. And as you guys know, as members of the media, based off your own metrics that you have, the fans react pretty strongly to it. That's why there's such a great turnout here on sessions like this, is everyone's looking for great content to share with those fans, because it's probably going to be consumed at a fairly high level. Long story short, I think we all have our own sense of how important it is to make the Final Four, and how significant it is to our sport across the different stakeholders. And I'm right in line with that.
Great. Thank you, Brad.
No problem.
Thank you, Davey. We have a question next from Jeff Magliochetti. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Krista, thank you. Brad, thank you for joining us. Congratulations. You know, the round of 12 didn't go your guys' way, but you followed it up with a stellar round of 2 fourth place finishes and a 6th. What did you learn about your team during that process, and how can you carry over the momentum to this final race? Thank you for joining us.
No problem. You know, I think probably the biggest thing, I think that was Jeff, probably the biggest thing I took out of the last round was from Martinsville itself. I tried my best to treat Martinsville as though it was Phoenix. And, you know, in that sense, it was a cutoff race. Points were really close. You know, I think I was only a few points behind Denny Hamlin. And if I knew that if I beat Denny Hamlin in points, that I would be okay to move on to next week, which was ultimately going to come down to, you know, stage points in the finish, where this week's just the finish. But ultimately, we treated the race week, or I treated the race weekend as though I was in Phoenix competing for the championship. And it felt a little bit like a dress rehearsal. And I certainly learned a few things about me. I learned probably be careful on pit road towards the end of the race, and don't let your aggressiveness get to you. And beyond that, the resiliency that this team has to keep pushing when it counts.
Thank you, Jeff. We have a question next from Greg Engel.
Oh, hey, Brad. Sorry, I'm
No problem.
chatting with my cable company.
With the cable company, I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. You're not a team owner anymore. Put on your team owner hat and think about this for a second.
Okay.
With the no practice and no qualifying, is that very financially advantageous to a team? Is that something that can be a really cost-saving measure, something that NASCAR has been trying to do for years? And would you like to see that continued on a consistent basis as we move forward?
Yeah, obviously it's a huge cost saver. It's probably 20 to 30% of an annual team budget savings, which is significant. You know, it's hard to say where the future will go there, but I would say there's probably some key lessons learned there that will be applied to the future. And I think we're just learning ways to operate more efficiently. I think that's a good thing. There was a second part to that question. I didn't hear, or I don't recall. Sorry.
No. That was you exactly what I said. I mean, they're going to do it some next year, but as NASCAR talks about the cost savings that they're trying for teams, you know, with the next gen car and all that junk, this is kind of something that's a little unexpected, because obviously I'm sure that no practice, no qualifying wasn't factored into that until all of a sudden it had to be done. And now NASCAR and you guys can look and say, wow, this is actually working, and it's actually saving us money. So is that something you'd like to see going forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to see more of it going forward. I think it's been great for everyone. You know, like I said, we were practicing at 9 a.m. in the morning. I think it was in Michigan for the last 10 years of my career. The track is, you know, a balmy 42 degrees, and the race conditions are going to be 80. You know, the speeds were, you know, 10 mile an hour faster than anything we'd see in the race. And we were just burning tires, burning engines, burning everything. And, you know, I would look at my team and say, what are we doing? Let's just keep this thing parked in the garage. And they would look at me like I was crazy. Like, we can't do that. We've got a new da-da-da widget to put on the car, and we need to see how it performs. And you need to get on board with this. You know, okay. And there we are out there at 9 a.m. in the morning, running 215 into the corner and just praying the right front tire stays on it. And nowhere near the race conditions. And just burning gas, burning tires, burning engines, and probably even making a few fans mad because they had a good night in Michigan the night before, if you know what I mean, and didn't want to hear loud noises that early in the morning. So, yeah, I think that needed to go. That was a good move. That's one I hope we keep. Everybody won on that one. So I think the key is to find the scenarios where everybody wins. Certainly there's other scenarios where it doesn't work out. It doesn't make sense. Whether that's new tracks we've never ran at before, or some kind of unique scenario, like the dirt track at Bristol. Yeah, I probably need a little practice for that. But in totality, I think it's been really good for the sport.
Well, thank you very much. Our time with Brad is up. So I guess I'll just close by saying, if you win the championship, are we going to see a glass the size of Rattlesnake Hill with some chugging a beer inside? That was pre-marriage. That was pre-marriage and pre-kids is why
it was. My wife has told me that she will prepare the glass as long as I promise to drink responsibly, and we have a deal. There's a little backstory to it, Krista. Those people that know me know that I like to leave things as they were, and meaning that we located the glass from 2012. It still had beer in it, a little bit on the bottom. Needless to say, that was not a pleasant sight, but it was authentic. So my wife is cleaning it as we speak. She's going to wrap it up, put it in a nice bubble wrap box, and hopefully we'll be getting it out Sunday night.
We look forward to seeing that, should that happen. Thank you very much. Best of luck to you, Brad, this Sunday.
Appreciate y'all.